Hi everybody, welcome back. Hope you're all keeping well. We're going to carry on with work on the layout I'm building for Modellers Corner in Enniskillen. And we're going to take some of these Hornby buffer stops. We're going to paint them up a little bit, make them look a little bit different, add bits to them, put some lighting on them of different types. So let's get stuck into that. Might do this over 2 videos. Do the one with the painting and the weathering first, and then show how I fit the lights afterwards. But let's get stuck in and see how we get on. Here we have some buffer stops. These are the Hornby ones. You can use other makes. I've got some paint, I got some weathering powders, I got some bits of wood here, coffee stirrers, skewers, that sort of thing. Got the guillotine there for cutting them, and some paint trays for mixing the paint, and of course, loads of different paint brushes. So let's get stuck in, see what we're going to do. First thing I've done is I've drilled a hole, it'll focus there if you can see it, in the centre there. That's a 2mm hole, because I'm going to use these lighthouse or top hat LEDs, and I'm going to push through to there. So now you can see that you'll have a red light coming through there. Okay, so I've drilled all them. They're not all going to be lit like this. I'm going to do a couple of different variations. Put that to one side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take all of these, paint them with some burnt umber. So give them a complete coat of that. What I've done with these is I've washed them and dried them beforehand. So now they're ready to paint. So I'm going to paint these and then I'll come back and show you that when they're done. We've had a first coat of paint put on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put actually a board across here. So I'm going to take a little bit of glue, just put it on there. And I've got, this is just a coffee stirrer. I've cut to the right length. And I'm just going to over there, and just make sure it's centered in the right position, just like that. So I can let that dry for a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to paint that. So I'm using the old rocket car glue for that. Pretty good stuff. So we'll let that dry for a few minutes and come back and paint it. Right, those bits of wood there now have dried on. You can see how it gives a flat front there. So I'm just going to take some more of the burnt umber and just give it a coat. This might take a couple of coats to do, as it's just bare wood. Some of this may soak in, so you may need to do just a couple of coats on it, just so you get good coverage. And just make sure you get it in behind. There we go. So I'll let that dry, and then we'll have a look at it later. I'll do the other one. There we go. Right, let them dry and come back again. The wood's all stuck on, it's all dried now from the paint. The whole buffer is now brown. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some rust colour and basically just go over the sort of metal parts of the buffer. So these main parts around here are wooden, and these are all metal, so give it more of a rust colour just to differentiate. So I'll go and do that to all the buffers now. Here's the buffer stops now. They've been painted up with a rust colour, and you can see also I've put some colours on like the buffer stops themselves. I put some red on there, white on others, and you can see how the difference of adding the little piece of wood across there just gives a different shape to the buffer. So what we're going to do now is I've got some of these Tamiya weathering powder kits. I've got one here with soot and rust on it and snow. And then I've got one here with, what we got, sand, light sand and mud. So these are like little makeup sets. You know, like a little makeup brush from there. And all we're going to do is we're going to take some of the soot on the brush, so it forms into like a little powder, and then we're just going to put a little bit on, just to dirty it up a little bit. It doesn't need much, it's just a subtle little colouring. Put some all over the buffer. We'll also take some of the rust colour and we'll put that on the metal parts. It just gives it a little subtle colour change and highlights it. You can put as little or as much on as you want. I'm going to take some of the mud colour as well. So I'm not worried about cleaning my brush, I'm just using the same brush just to put it on, and put some of the dirt around the bottom bits. There, you can see there's some just subtle changes in the colour there. It just breaks up the single colour, add a bit of dirt to it, a bit variation on the rust colour. And you can just make it as heavy or as light as you want to. So I'm going to carry on and do the rest of these. There you can see now a little bit of the weathering powder on it. Has changed it completely. So they look a bit older, a bit rougher now, ready to go onto the layout. You can see that's made quite a difference now, the painting and the weathering to the overall look of these Hornby buffer stops. So there we go, improving your buffer stops. I'm going to leave the video there, so hit the subscribe button for me because next week we'll be looking at adding lighting to them. Big thank you to my channel members and patrons whose names will be scrolling along here. And I'll pop another video here, and the old subscribe button in the middle. Give me the thumbs up. Any questions or comments, put them down below. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.